So Eboni K. Williams responded to the since gone viral clip that she did with Iyanla Van Zant on the Griot. And she was very passionate about her response, just like many of the women who agreed or disagreed with her. And let's not forget about the men who had their opinions. You know I'm going to voice it.
We're about to voice it with Fran Lavoie.
Tune in. Welcome to Voice It with Fran Lavoie, and I'm your host, Fran Lavoie. I'd like to thank you for joining me again for the second season of my podcast and my YouTube show. You can find me at Voice It with Fran Lavoie wherever you podcast and on my YouTube channel. I'd like to thank all of you who watched my video and watched my shorts on YouTube. The same audio will be found on the podcast. Thank you so much for your support across the globe. And without further ado, let me voice it. All right, so Eboni K. Williams went viral over the weekend for her comments on a conversation that she had with Iyanla Van Zant, just about, women and, just embracing their femininity and adjusting their crowns. And, Ebony started by, well, she didn't start by, but 10 minutes into the conversation, about 13 minutes in, she asked a question about just dating and what should women do when it comes to, the disparities in, Black men and the finances, and not even just Black men, because she said, she done tried all races. She done did it all. And Iyanla hit her with the, would you date a bus driver? I.e., would you date a man that doesn't earn as much as you do or does not have the success that you do financially or status, if you will? And she said, well, if he owned the bus and or pretty much if he was the boss. And everybody had a lot of things to say. A lot of women agreed. A lot of women went to the other side. My very first video on my new YouTube, I even said that I would build with a man that had the ambition on his own to make it before I even came into the picture. Well, she responded, and I'm going to have to come back and give some of my commentary because I had engagement from one young lady on my video. If you haven't seen that video, you can take a look at it now. It's on my page, and it's my last podcast that I just did about a day or two ago. But let's just start by hearing what Eboni K. Williams responded on her show. I forget which show it was on. I'll if I find out, I'll let you know. But let's listen.
So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of Black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and Black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of Black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time. So out of the 50, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that Black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning Black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
All right. So shout out to the Griot, and that's where this was broadcast from via Eboni K. Williams, responding to people who pretty much gave her the backlash. A lot of people assumed that she was a gold digger. A lot of men said a lot of things that implied that she would never find a man, or, you know. And yes, I listened into a lot of podcasts that spoke on that. But I would just say this. I don't disagree with Eboni K. Williams. I think that she is entitled to her desires and her wants. And she's in a tax bracket to where, and she's in circles where she can run into the type of men that she's looking for. I would just say that what she said about aspiring and esteeming black men and esteeming men in general to be higher than that C plus D plus man, to not just get a pat on the back because he just barely made it, but to aim higher. I'm all for that. And that's exactly what I expressed in my last video. When I said that I'm willing to build with a man, I'm not saying that I'm going to build a man. I'm saying that that man already has a plan and a vision for his life, and he knows that where he is, he's going to aspire higher. He has the esteem within himself that he knows that he has the work ethic and the desire within himself to do better than what he is. But he encompasses other high value qualities of good character. And when I say good character, I mean someone who loves and honors and respects and is willing to learn me as much as I'm willing to learn him. And I have to offer him that same love and respect. He meets my love language. I meet his love language. We celebrate each other's goals and successes as we're both building ourselves individually, and then we come together. Eboni K. Williams just spoke to men owning the bus because she believes that men can own it, particularly her community, black men, who are often systematically oppressed to feel like they can't own. Now, there are a lot of black men who are achieving ownership, who are achieving the financial success. So God bless and kudos to them. But we still got a lot of work to do because according to that research that I did on my last video, black men between the ages of 20 to 50, almost 60, on average, from research 3 years ago, data from 3 years ago, are capping off at about $49,000. And if that's the average, that means that more often than not, black men are not making $80,000 to $100,000 a year in droves. They're not doing it. So what I meant in my video is that while I agree with Eboni K. Williams, and yes, I don't want an average man that is just okay with making C pluses, that is just okay with making $30,000 a year, knowing that in this economy, it's not going to work. I'm looking for, and I want women, particularly black women, because that's my community, to look for a man that knows that where he is isn't where he's going to end up. Let me give you an example. The idea is that, and I'll just start with this. A lot of men get a lot of flack in general for, oh, you're not making enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Oh, I feel like you ain't doing nothing with your life. And when you see a lot of men complain about women who are gold diggers and why, man, she just not trying to build with me. She just not trying to build with me. I agree with a lot of men out there that I see that are working hard. And here's the example that I'm going to give. let's say you meet a man who is everything that you want emotionally and spiritually. He's loving, he's caring, and he's supportive. He respects you, he honors you, he knows how to lead. He is, you know, everything on the personality and character standpoint that you are looking for in a man. And he's fine. All that stuff, right? You're attracted to him. All the stuff. You make about $50,000 a year as a woman. He right now is making about 30K, right? He has a degree and he has an entry-level job where he's making $30,000. You meet him, he's in school getting his master's. He's achieving greater, he's achieving higher, just right there. Right there, he's trying to do it, right? Let's say he doesn't get the promotion that he was going for. He tries again, he doesn't get it. He's like, all right, I don't get it. I'm still stuck at this 30,000, but I'm going to apply to another job. I'm going to get a side hustle. I'm going to get 2 jobs. I'm going to do what I can while I'm making this 30K with this education that I got and a job that I'm passionate about. Because God forbid he goes ahead and tries to become this rocket scientist that he knows he's not passionate about. And then now he's depressed because he's at a job that he doesn't want to be at, because he's just trying to do it because he feels the pressure to make a lot of money in order to keep you smiling, in order to buy you nice things. But deep down, he's broken. Deep down, he's hurt inside. Deep down, he's not passionate about his life anymore. I'm not looking for that. I want a man to be happy within himself. I want a man to be passionate about life and passionate about what he's doing. And I want a man to achieve greater and achieve higher, even when life is pushing against him, just like the example I gave. That happens every day, where people do not get the job offers that they want. They don't get the financial raises that they want. They don't get these things even though they're working hard and they're doing A+ work, even though they're aspiring higher and they're doing greater and they're living a life of passion. And yes, I'm not talking about a passion that is variable and that is unstable. I'm talking about a lot of jobs out here are not paying that much money. And once again, not everybody can be an engineer. Not everybody could be a lawyer. Not everybody can be a doctor. Some people just aren't built for that. But there are people out there that are amazing at what they do. And they're passionate and they're doing all that they can and they're aspiring for greatness. But it's just not going to be immediate boss level stuff. But they're still trying their best and they're still going out there and doing what they can, because they know that they're not satisfied. I'm willing to rock with that, especially if that man has everything else that I'm looking for. Absolutely. Eboni K. Williams did not down bus drivers. She maybe said it differently and maybe said it in a way that triggered people. Is just looking for a man that while he's driving the bus, he's already trying to own his own bus service. On the side, he's looking for ways to build his own business. Or just like she said, if he own it, I'm with him, because it's her prerogative to say that I don't want somebody that's aspiring at the moment, because I've already achieved what I achieved. I'm looking for somebody who's already got it, who already got what they aspired for, because she perhaps has gotten what she aspired for, and there's nothing wrong with her wanting somebody on her level and above. I know that I am still aspiring, so perhaps because I'm getting to the place in my career, I'm getting to the place in my life where I'm starting to get comfortable. Perhaps I'm looking for somebody at that level too. But if that person's at my financial level, but they can't meet me in those other areas, my values are different. I want somebody that has everything. If you want the man that just makes the money, is just going to be able to provide for you financially and give you the life that you always wanted, then those are your values. I, listening to Eboni K. Williams, sees a woman that thinks higher for Black men, especially going back to the research I did. that they're not making as much. They're not doing great financially. And a lot of it has to do with mentality. If reading between the lines, she wants men in her community to aspire greater, and it starts with their mentality. It starts with their thought process. It starts with breaking away from the systematic oppression that has been placed on the Black culture to feel like they can't do greater. Not everybody in the Black culture feels that way. But there is a great percentage of men that do. There's a great percentage of people that do. And she just wants us to do better. Another example is, let's say he doesn't have a degree. Let's say he is the bus driver, right? Let's say he's the garbage man. Let's say he works at a supermarket. Eboni K. Williams is telling you guys that if he does not see himself one day doing better than being the cashier at Walmart, if he's comfortable with that, knowing that the wage isn't enough to support a family, knowing that that's not what he really wants, but he's living a life that is just listless and purposeless, and he's just working to get by, making these ends meet, and you don't see him aspiring for greater on his own, doing what he got to do, then you're never going to boss up. And that's not what she's looking for. She's looking for somebody that spent years getting to the place of that boss level. So when she meets them, they match because she spent years getting there too, right? So I just think, and shout out to Ricky Williams. You can see him on Cruise Season. He said, rock with people who rock with you. Okay, and that's another thing. Sure, we can boss up and we can level up. My drawback to that is bossing up is not just financial boss up. And once again, that is not what Eboni K was saying. I don't believe that she was just saying boss up financially. That's a part of it. But I'm sure she's intelligent enough. I would like to hope so, that she's not going to get with someone who is at that boss financial level and doesn't match or does not give her the emotional, mental, spiritual, and compatible stability that she's looking for in order to relate to her partner. Let's not create semantics and let's not conflate ideas to say things that she didn't say. Okay? And for those of you that are listening to this and those of you that watched my video before, shout out to you, Janice. She gave me so much engagement. And I'm glad you watched it and I appreciate your commentary. But I am not saying that your opinions are wrong. Girl, it's cool for you to be with a man that makes money and he's living. Listen, shoot. I would be lying to you to tell you that if I was attracted to a man that made more money than me and he was everything I was looking for, yeah, of course that would be hard to pass up. But I would have to feel him and I'd have to like him. Because once again, I've been there where I've dated men who made money, who made over $200,000 a year, made $300,000, who had great jobs. And at the end of the day, it wasn't that they were jerks. It wasn't that they didn't have potential in every other area other than the finances, because they clearly made it there. I just didn't like them. Or it just didn't work, right? Because it's not just about what you could do for me financially. It's about, does it work? Because how many people are in loveless relationships? At that point, I don't want it. And because I've had that experience, I can say confidently that I'm cool off that and that I'm not willing to, trade just I'm not willing to trade all those other things just for a financial like success story. I guess my point as I finish is everybody's values are different. Financially, we have to be realistic and say, in this economy, we do need to level up in a lot of ways. I'm just saying that there's a lot of factors that prevent people from leveling up, even though they're doing the best that they can. What I'm also saying is that we should not demonize women for their preferences. I'm just saying that we need to be realistic about our preferences and stop lying to ourselves. Women, if you are not at an Eboni K level status, and if you're at an average status making a certain amount of money, it's quite possible you could meet a man that makes way more than you and is going to want to lock you down. But who's to say that he's not going to want a woman that's at his financial level also? It goes both ways. So we have to really think about a lot of things. And we need to stop putting words in people's mouths. And stop putting words in my mouth too. For those of you that think that I just want women to just, settle for average. Black people in general should not settle for anything average. People in general should not settle for average. But we need to be mindful and be real about what average looks like in America based on this economy, and understand what our values are and what we're looking for and what's important to us. I already listed what was important to me in a relationship. And on top of a man who makes great money, I'm looking for a man who is looking to build within himself forever and grow and grow in passion every day about what he's doing. I'm not wanting to lose my men because they're lost in the sauce trying to make $1 and their souls are just tarnished because they think that they have to make money and they think that they have to do this and they're always in a rat race. I'm looking for a man who is looking for financial freedom, but a man who understands that it's more, there's more to life than just money. I'm not out here saying like I'm looking for a man, but you get what I mean. I'm saying that that is the type of man that I would go for instead of a man who is just financially high valued. I'm looking for a high value man in every sense of the word. And sometimes that high value man isn't financially high valued yet, but he's on his way. Based on that research, we got to be real. We got to be real about what people are making versus what we're looking for. And we need to just accept what it is and not necessarily work with a man who has a bum mentality, but work with a man who has a boss mentality and that is on their way to that greatness. Because to me, just like Whitley Gilbert said, certain men are just never poor, okay? Certain men, when they have that mindset and when they're smart, those men don't stay poor for long. Those men don't stay down for long. They get back up. They get back up swinging every single time. I know women like that. As a woman that gets knocked down and gets up swinging, you need a man like that. Because if you get knocked down, he's going to pick you back up. And if he gets knocked down, you want to pick him back up so that he could hit the ground swinging. That's what I meant. We need to we need to be a team building together. That is just my personal opinion on it. I know I went on a little rant. I hope that I didn't lose y'all. But be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please download and follow my podcast. You can find me everywhere. IG, YouTube, and everywhere you stream podcasts at Voice It with Fran Lavoie. Let me know what you think about Eboni K. Williams' response. Do you agree? Do you feel like black women are settling for average? Or do you think that she was just inspiring men to aspire and reach higher? Do you disagree with her? Let me know. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.